Conservative New Media viewers, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion, the super genius, and the political expert with Paul F. Villarreal. And we're still talking about Donald Trump. We're still talking about this debate. And now, Paul, we have a brand new NBC poll. And now Matt Drudge of the Drudge Report, or at least the Drudge Report, had a reaction, an online poll, and it was very widely, I guess, taken, and it had Trump in a huge lead. Now, some people dismiss that poll with the online poll, whatever, but now we have an NBC poll, okay, that has just been released, and even after all a lot of people said, the bubble was burst with Trump, and the comments with Megyn Kelly, and he got disinvited from the red state thing, and this was supposed to, maybe some people were counting Donald Trump out. Guess what, Paul? With the new poll from NBC after the debate, Donald Trump is not down, he's not flat, he's up. What do you think about that?
That's huge. Look, we talked about this between ourselves. We said there was a sense that if the establishment or the media was going to kind of try to take Trump out of the race or hurt him significantly, it was going to have to happen now in this first debate when the candidates take the big stage. Not only did that not happen, even though some outlets proclaimed that it had supposedly happened, he's gained in strength. So if there was an attempt to try to minimize his campaign or to take the steam out of his campaign, it looks like it's actually backfired, and he emerges from the first debate even stronger based on his first poll.
Absolutely. I mean, this is it. I mean, and not only that, Paul. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I mean, first of all, I want to say this. I've met Donald Trump, and I'm going to put in another video how, when, and where I met Donald Trump, because that also cuts across some of these attacks on Donald Trump, okay? Some of these accusations, in my opinion, on Donald Trump. And also, I want to frame the situation right here. We're not saying that we agree or condone with everything Donald Trump has said or anything like that. Donald Trump speaks for Donald Trump. But there's so much about Donald Trump that I think Donald Trump is really, listen, Donald Trump is very successful. We like Donald Trump, and we like a lot of what he stands for, okay? And I think Donald Trump is tapping into, is tapping into something that is giving a voice, if you will, to a lot of voters that have not had a voice and have been kind of stamped down by the mainstream media, stamped down by the establishment, and stamped down by the elites on both sides. And so, again, Donald Trump is extremely successful. Donald Trump is someone that's very charismatic. Donald Trump is someone that is very, very intelligent. Donald Trump is someone that has yes, he started with, at a good place, but he's made so much more out of it. And Donald Trump is saying things that need to be heard, and that's very, very important. But the thing of it is that, here's the thing. See, I believe in free speech, okay? I believe in liberty. I believe in America. And what I don't like is, if someone thinks that Donald Trump said something that's so egregious that they can't vote for him, let the voters decide. You don't need to disinvite him from something like that. You don't need to say, oh, he can't take the debate stage, something like that. Let the voters decide. I don't want to see DC or the mainstream media or the consultants or these kind of so-called experts deciding for the people. This is supposed to be a free and open campaign. This is supposed to be a situation where people can decide for themselves. That's what's important. Let people decide. I believe in the American people. I believe in you. I believe in the audience out there. They can say, I like Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like what he said, but you know what? I'll vote for him. Or I'm not going to vote for him, but I agree with what I said, or whatever. That's fine. That's what this is about, okay? And so what's so great about this poll, Paul, is that this has just crushed so much of the conventional wisdom by the so-called experts and pundits. What did we hear from the experts and pundits? I watched the Sunday shows, everything like that. I watched the post-debate analysis. Oh, Kasich did great. Kasich did great. He looked so good, and he was there in Ohio, and also, and I'm paraphrasing and obviously making, an entertaining, comical type of parody on it. I'm not saying that's exactly what was said, but, some people seem to believe, in my opinion, or seem to say, in my opinion, that Kasich did great. Guess what? Number two, we also heard that Jeb Bush, some people I thought said Jeb Bush did pretty good. Now some people said he didn't do so good, but some people said he did pretty good. We also heard that, you know what, that Christie, he really gave it to Rand Paul. Christie gave it to Rand Paul on this NSA thing and stuff like that. This is what we heard. We heard these things. We also heard, what did we hear? That the big winner of the debate was Marco Rubio. I like Marco Rubio. Senator Rubio's great. You know what I mean? And he was, you know, my senator when I was in Florida, and that's fine. But we heard all these things, Paul. But now we have the new poll, and when did we find out? Guess who is up? Donald Trump. He was supposed to be DOA according to certain people. Donald Trump is up. Guess who else is up? Ted Cruz, Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson. Guess who's flat or down? Marco Rubio flat. Okay. Rick Perry flat. John Kasich down. Jeb Bush down big. Down big. Jeb Bush has lost 30% of his support. Oh, that's a facial insiders. That's a facial mainstream media. That's a facial consultants. That's a facial Eric Erickson of Red State. And what about Christie? Christie's also down. Oh, it looks like all these consultants and mainstream media people are maybe, there's a lot of them, Paul, that maybe got it a little bit wrong. What do you think about that?
I think you're right. I think that there were people declaring that Donald Trump's candidacy was all over and that he made a big misstep and that was it. But based upon this new NBC poll, it's the opposite. It's getting stronger. And as we said, I think that there's an immunity level for Donald Trump that we mentioned in the previous video. People know what he is. They already have an opinion about him. And I don't think one type of a gotcha question or answer is going to alter that very much. And we see in this poll that the more the people have seen him now in this setting on this debate stage, and he's going up and clearly is the front runner of the race still. So if the establishment was hoping that he was going to fall and stumble, they're going to be very disappointed.
Right. I mean, what happened to Frank Luntz's focus group? What happened to Frank Luntz's focus group? Where the quote, the tagline, if I remember it right, if I saw it on FoxNews.com right, if I think I saw, was, you know, Trump crashed and burned, and his focus group, a lot of them switched against Trump, and you had all these other people coming out, and the bubbles burst, and we're going to disinvite him. The point is this: I don't want Fox News or Red State or Eric Erickson or Megyn Kelly or any of these people deciding for me or for you or for anyone else who should be the nominee. They have jobs to do. Some of these people are very accomplished. Some of these people are very smart. I get it. I understand that. That's fine. But there's a difference between, and here's what I think people are really viscerally reacting to in Trump supporters, Paul, and even people that aren't Trump supporters, okay, but just want to see some, in my opinion, fair play. It's one thing to comment. It's another thing to consult this and that, whatever. And it's another thing to try to say that certain people shouldn't be in the debate. Certain people shouldn't even be on the stage. Certain people get disinvited. That you know what? We don't even want the voters to hear about these people. And that person just happens to be leading the polls. That there's something just really, really dramatically wrong with that, in my opinion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, you're basically trying to dictate to the voter who they can and can't vote for and who they should and should not vote for, when it should be up to the voters to decide who they want to vote for, particularly given a candidate who's way out in front leading the race. You got to respect the voters. Right.
And we're going to do another video where we compare the sort of reaction and the news stories and the, let's say, party acceptance for Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. I think there's a stark difference there. And I think that's something that all Republicans, and especially the Republican insiders and the party people, need to really look in the mirror and think about. And that's what we're seeing. You can like Donald Trump, not like Donald Trump, vote for him, not vote for him. disagree with what he says, agree with some of what he says, whatever. If Donald Trump says stupid things, if Donald Trump does certain things, if Donald Trump blows himself up or whatever, then that's fine. Let him do that. Donald Trump can speak for Donald Trump, okay? And then let me tell you something. Donald Trump is extremely intelligent, extremely successful. No matter what you or whoever else might want to think about, that's a fact, okay? And some people are calling him, Teflon Don, whatever like that. The point is this. People are, like, it goes back to our other video about celebrity. People have seen Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been in people's living room for a long time now. Donald Trump has been all over the country, has built buildings in many different major cities and capitals and globes around the world and stuff like that. Donald Trump has written these best-selling books and again been on these hit TV shows. People have a sense of what they know about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is clearly striking a chord. And this is again, and we'll close this up right here. What upsets me, Paul, is that there's an attack on the messenger and an unwillingness to deal with the message that is clearly resonating. You talk about the politics of personal destruction, that is clearly resonating with the people. Yes, Donald Trump has grown up in New York. New York is in the New York media, that's tough media. That may be the toughest media in the world, or at least in the U.S. That's number one. Donald Trump, if you punch him, he's going, metaphorically, figuratively punch you back harder. And there's things that Donald Trump has said that I completely disagree with, that I would never say. But you know what? Donald Trump is in the media now almost 24/7. If you're in the media 24/7, and I've been a professional media broadcaster for a long time, and we're still doing the thing here on YouTube, stuff like that. Especially when you're live, you don't always say the right thing. You're going to mess up sometimes. Sometimes you make a mistake. You meant to say green, you said blue, you said whatever. Things happen. You make misstatements. It happens. We all are going to make mistakes. Who out there is perfect, okay? And I'm not absolving, Donald Trump of whatever he says. I'm not saying he shouldn't be responsible. What I am saying is, again, this combing through of 30 years. Let's find where let's do this opposition research and find. Now, listen, I understand you're going for the President of the United States, and these things are going to happen. But again, it's this focus on let's get this gotcha. Let's get them. Let's do it. I'm not saying that some people are doing it, but it feels like that to some people out there, okay? As opposed to dealing with the message. What is he saying? Why are people supporting him? Well, does this make sense? Is this a good idea? Why don't we look at that? And I just feel like it's this insider class. They're saying, no, this is our club. You're not allowed. We don't want you in here. And you know what, Paul? I think that this is a change election. I think that people want something different than what they've seen so far. I think people are so tired of a Republican establishment saying, I'm a conservative now, but I mean, think about that. Jeb Bush has said, if I wear the quote right, you need to, quote, lose the primary to win the general. What kind of statement is that? I mean, isn't that a slap in the face of every Republican, conservative Republican primary voter? That basically, what does that mean? That means that you're going to be a rhino? Does that mean that you're going to fool the conservatives so you can win, and then you're going to switch it up? What the heck does that even mean? Can someone please ask him about that? Well, that's a legitimate question. Why didn't Megyn Kelly, ask him about that? Maybe she did. Maybe I forgot about it. But I mean, that's a real question right there. Donald Trump says what he, sometimes he's a little too blunt. Sometimes he shoots off a little bit too much. But at least you don't feel like you're dealing with some blow-dried, consultant, poll-tested spin machine with Donald Trump. And I think, Paul, that's what people, in part, are reacting to. Close it out.
That is what people are reacting to. That's the reason why videos like the one that's on Drudge right now, the two young women responding and kind of defending Trump, is all about. People feel like the coverage and the questioning can be unfair, and people sense that, and they're reacting to that. What you said is right. Do we really want our most important process for choosing a president? Do we really want that to be based upon gotcha questions and answers, as you said, that can be done in 5 seconds and a mistake is made? Or do we want to judge the entire scope of the candidate's career? Is Donald Trump going to be held for something he may or may not have implied in a soundbite, or is he going to be looked at as a man who's a multi-billionaire and brought himself to success. So people have to look at that. What is the real standard here? What should the media be focusing on? What should they not be focusing on? I think you hit the nail on the head. People want more substance and less of this kind of frivolousness from the media and these debates.
Right, and Donald Trump talked about that a little bit, about the PC and the tone, and we don't have time for tone. In other words, put all that aside. Who said the right words, or gotcha, questions, or gotcha journalism, or personal attacks, put all that aside. And this is the question I'm going to leave with the audience. Be honest. GOP voters and frankly, American voters and people around the world. If you had one person right now to put into the Oval Office, to put into the presidency, or run your company, or whatever, if you have one person who was up on that stage, or the happy hour debate, or whatever, one person who you wanted to be able to balance a budget, make America great again, produce jobs, do trade deals, negotiate with foreign powers, who would that person be? Who do you think is the most really experienced, the most competent, the most successful? Again, all the BS aside, I think you'd be if you're really being honest and you really have done the research. I'm trying to tell you here. I think you'd have a hard time picking anyone else other than Donald Trump, and that's based upon real world results. That's not sound bites. That's not blow dry. That's not poll tested. Real world results. Okay, Marco Rubio hasn't built the kind of companies that Donald Trump has. All due respect to Senator Rubio, and neither has anybody else there. Okay, and for whatever help that Donald Trump had getting his empire started, as some people like to say, it's nothing compared to the help that Jeb Bush had getting, his political career and or business interests started, in my personal opinion. Okay, when your dad was president of the United States and all that type of stuff, it doesn't hurt. Okay, that's a little bit of a better leg up, in my personal opinion, than what Donald Trump had. Okay, and so, and we could go on. And again, this is nothing against anybody else. This is just trying to be honest and logical and rational and giving real analysis, as opposed to these gotcha questions. I quite frankly don't care about this Megyn Kelly, Donald Trump thing. I care about this country, and I care about who's going to be next president of the United States, and I care about results, and I care about the fact that we have a massive debt. And there's a lot of people that aren't working in this country. Labor force participation is low. And I want to see this country be great again. And I want to see people be successful. The great thing about Donald Trump is, yes, he's a billionaire, but I feel like he wants everybody else to be successful just like him. That's what I have to say about that. What do you think about that? Tell me what you think. Give us the comments below. Please subscribe. Please rate this video up. Also, please post it on your social media sites. Thanks so much for watching. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion, the super genius, and the political expert. That is Paul at Villarreal. More Donald Trump videos coming. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.